Ugh. Alright, so you can see we wiping off, cleaning off the greaser here and blasting out all these portholes for the oil and for the coolant. And one of the coolant holes, you see we blasted out this right here. I mean, this is solid right now, whatever this is. So this was down in the coolant passages. So we had to clean it all out. All right, so here's a little test we did. We went ahead and filled up each of the intake runners here with water, and you can actually see, well, it's a little hard to see actually underneath here to see if any of the water is leaking out because we've been washing it underneath here for each of the valves. What I want to pay attention to is the level of water in each intake runner. I'm going to try setting up a time lapse here, and for a cylinder head that's cracked, again, we're going to do this on the exhaust side as well, but the machine shop said the valves were cracked. So what we're going to do is put this on a time lapse and see just how far down this water goes, how much of a leak we've got in each of these valves. Alright, so the camera in the hot sun died when doing the time lapse here, but you can see the levels. I've only gone down as much as the water has evaporated, which is nothing. You can see they're just right up to the tippy top. So now we're going to go ahead and repeat this on the exhaust side just to verify we don't have any cracks in the valves as we were told. Alright, so same thing, we've got all the exhaust ports full of water, and we're going to sit here and monitor just to make sure the level doesn't decrease, and then as long as it doesn't do that, we'll go ahead and give this side a cleaning just like we did on the intake side. Alright, so I don't know if you guys can see, but the water's still up to the tippy top in each of the cylinders, and also if we look underneath, you can see, oh, I just spilled it. Each of the exhaust valves are perfectly dry as well. Alright, so as you can see, each of the exhaust valves not leaking whatsoever. That water level stayed up there for quite some time as well. So now we're just going to go through, get this thing all clean. We'll double check to make sure it's flat using a level, and then we're going to throw it back in the car. So I think that's where we're at now. I'm very confident that this cylinder head is still in very good shape. So let's go ahead and finish up what we have to do on this thing, so then we can go throw it into that thing. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get the two surfaces ready. One down on the exhaust collector that you can't really see too well from this vantage point. But the other thing we're going to do is we're going to go through and clean down the mating surface and try to flush out some of the galleyways here for the engine coolant and all the head studs as well. I just had to show you guys this. Check this out. How cool is this? You can actually see the circular casting marks on the top of the piston, in addition to the part number stamped in there, and then the direction for the piston as well. I've still got a bit more cleaning to do on the where the valves seat themselves on the top of the piston there, the clearance. But how cool is that? This thing's got 200,000 miles. That is so awesome. All right, and then one more thing to double check while you're in here is just look how strong that cross hatching is on the cylinder walls there. I've checked every single cylinder, looks exactly the same way. That's crazy. For this many miles, and you can still see the cross hatching. It's awesome. Another good sign for this motor. All right, so here's the head. It's all perfectly smooth. I mean, it feels like glass. It's fantastic. You can see we also cleaned up. It looks a lot better in person than on video here, but we went ahead and cleaned up all the other mating surfaces for all the other gaskets and whatnot. But it may not have been hot tanked and cleaned at the machine shop like we asked. But I think it'll do. I think it'll do just fine. So next thing up, we got our package from FCP. This is only a small fraction of all this stuff that we got coming from them, but this is always like a good Christmas surprise here. Open this up. This is the first of many orders from FCP that we're going to be throwing at this car here. You can see so far we've ordered up a new valve cover gasket set here with new grommets for all the bolts as well. So this is timing case cover. We've got a new Y pipe on the back there. Like I said, that's a common issue to fail, and it's in a very inaccessible spot, so we're definitely going to be replacing that. Then we're even going as far as to replace all of the secondary air pump rubber mounts. Those were pretty degraded. And then next up, we got a whole new pack of head studs to go in, and also an OEM thermostat just to make sure everything stays cool. We also got a few things that are redundant. You can see we got a new thermostat O-ring that we won't need for this. It comes with a new one as well. You can see this actually is a valve cover grommets for the spark plug tubes here. So we'll put those over there. You can see we've got all new O-rings for just about everything under the sun under there, along with some new exhaust gaskets, exhaust collector gaskets, intake gaskets, gaskets everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. And speaking of gaskets, with the air pump going on in the back, and really the key to this whole thing, and this guy here, this is the new head gasket going in. And luckily, we don't even need to look it up online because it says right there, top. So we are ready to go. This is the first of many packages to be thrown in that car over there to make it just as perfect as we can. But for right now, we've got the mating surfaces all cleaned up, all brake cleaned, no contamination whatsoever. Collector gaskets all ready to go in down there. Heads ready to go. I think we're about there, guys. I really think what I'm going to do is throw the exhaust manifold back on the head and put the head in the car the same way I took it out, just because if not, then it's going to take me about 5 hours to put all the bolts on the side there. As you can tell, it's already been a pretty long day. So right now, fingers crossed, we get that head back in that car tonight before leaving for the evening. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the time lapse. So the machine shop strikes again. I didn't even think of this. I looked at this part sitting in the box that the head came back with from that terrible machine shop experience we had. And I saw this tied up and I thought, hey, that's pretty nice. What this is a locator plug. So this goes on the head itself, and it aligns the gasket in certain areas to make sure it's going on straight. And I just looked at it like this, looks good to go. And then I flipped it over when I just took it out now, and you can see it's all crushed, oblonged, obviously ripped out with maybe some needle nose pliers. I didn't even think to order a new one because, like I said, I looked in there and thought, hey, that looks round. But like I said, on closer inspection, this thing's pretty messed up. But hopefully I can straighten this out. If not, then I'll have to order a new one from FCP and overnight that up here. But it's gonna be a pain if this is the only thing that holds us up from throwing this back in the car after all that work. So let's see if I can straighten this thing out. All right, not too much bling going on this project so far. So let's say we get this valve cover looking a bit better. I'm thinking of going with a brushed aluminum, and then maybe paint it some of that crinkle black, but leave these these stripes white, so it'll look much like the newer BMW engine bays with the straight six. Even some of the 4 cylinders there, where they've got the black with the white stripes. I think that'll look really classy, really good, and definitely a heck of a lot better than what it looks like now. So let's get to work. So I know for you guys on the video there, it looks pretty much exactly what I'm looking to go for. Black here, with this being white or polished aluminum. That actually looks pretty good just as is, but we got a lot more work to do. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and throw these studs back in here. Plenty of NECs on these, and then we're going to hit them with about 25 Newton meters of torque. So I don't know if you guys know me, but I'm a huge torque spec guy, for better or for worse. Keeps me from snapping bolts and keeps me from losing bolts. Alright, so here we are, effectively the end of day 3 here. It's getting pretty late. We got a huge amount done today. We got the block prepped, we got the head prepped and cleaned. We're of course going to go through and double check everything, give it one more good clean off before we torque tomorrow. I'm also going to pick up a very accurate torque / angle torque wrench for tomorrow as well. I don't really trust mine that much. It's getting up there in years and I haven't calibrated it recently, so I don't want to find out it's wrong on this thing here. So I'll grab that first thing tomorrow. Then we come back, hit this thing, load the head back up in the car, and hopefully, at bare minimum, we can crank it a couple of times once you get it torqued down, just to ensure we got really good compression on this before we go any further, throwing any of these new parts that we got from FCP Euro into the car. But for now, I'm going to head home, shower, grab some food, and hopefully get there before they put me on the back of a milk carton. So until then, I'll see you guys next time. For you, it'll be 2 seconds. See you then. All right, boys and girls, here we go.